Here's what people are saying about 108.9 The Hawk.
I listen to 108.9 The Hawk because, it's a great station, and now that they combined with my other favorite station, K-Slob, it's like, it's even greater, good.
My brain's all over the place, and so is their discussion. So it feels like I'm living with myself, and I love it.
I like being able to hear Styx, but then also like being able to hear Papa Roach, so it's a win-win.
I like hearing Styx cover Papa Roach, so it's a win-win.
Geoff and Whisp in the morning. Kenner and Jenner afternoons. Val Verde rocks with 108.9 The Hawk.
It's time.
Geoff the Angry Man Garlock.
Your disease, and I'm the cure.
Whisp Turlington.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
Keg Stand. Jason Gore.
Resistance is futile.
Art Sparks.
In your dream.
If those names don't frighten you, you haven't been listening to the Geoff and Whisp Show. And here they are. Geoff the Angry Man Garlock and Whisp Turlington.
Welcome to Geoff the Angry Man Garlock and Whisp Turlington on Geoff and Whisp in the morning on 108.9 The Hawk.
That's
and
not
I tell
the name
you,
of the show.
What, Wisp? This is how
the
we're doing
Geoff
it?
and Whisp Show. It's not Geoff and Whisp in the morning. Get up, everybody, gonna have a good time. That's basically everything that you just sang. And
Is
it was
this
all
how we're gonna start? Do you
incorrect.
see?
Scotty,
Look
you
at
tell
everyone
me.
around us. They're looking at us already. They're
hi,
staring at
everybody.
us.
Look
Hello,
at these.
everyone.
Look
This
at
is how
this.
we start, is fighting again.
Slob 1, Slob 2, Slob 3, Slob 4. Get
It
an
is helpful they have
education.
slob shirts on.
It is. Thank you. I wouldn't have known. I would not have known. Down here at Val Verde University, let's do the slogan or the sound that they make when they play their football games as the assholes. It's all right. Go assholes. And we're
Man,
going.
when you get a whole stadium doing that,
Oh my God. And
Nauseating.
the other team is just like
it's like the pie eating scene in Stand By Me, but times 100.
it's like the Cadbury bunny, but it's like another animal. It was a hog this week. I saw the commercial and it's just like you get fucking Notre Dame in here and they horked all over the stadium.
They
At
hork.
Val Verde University, Notre Dame versus the assholes. That is the opening game this season. Later on, I mean, of course, we get the spring game. Everybody here is excited. We hear you. You're excited for the fucking spring game. Calm down.
Chill out, everyone.
But we're not even towards the spring game anymore right now. We are towards Val Verde Quad Jam 24. We're out here. We're having a good time. God almighty. This is a new thing. We're going to go on location more. That's a thing that Poseidon Radio wants us to do. And we're here.
We got a 20-page memo just talking about going on
Jesus
location
Christ.
a lot more.
I know. Look at all
was
this.
so
I
long.
brought it here. I didn't read it before.
It was a lot like the novel The
Stand.
He's making in the. It's like The Stand. It's like as long as the unabridged version of The Stand.
What was the difference between the abridged version and the unabridged version? I know you've read both of them because you're a gigantic fucking nerd.
More long descriptions of food that he ate when he was a child, and
Really?
lyrics from 50s doo-wop songs.
Just 50s doo-wop songs.
That had nothing to do with anything
Nothing?
going on with Randall Flagg or any of that crap. It was just like, hey, let's just take some time out to just sing Frankie Valli.
Oh my God. And then Frankie Valli did that one song for the Stand movie, the first Stand movie that they did.
And for the unabridged book.
It was a Robert Stigwood version of the Stand, so it was all like, the Stand, and it was all 50s. And it was really
It's beautiful.
weird.
When you buy that unabridged book, you'd open it up and there'd be a tape right in the middle.
Oh, the Stand.
7-minute song.
All these kids
So
are
long.
looking at us. They have no fucking idea because this is
Never
way
heard of the
too
Stands.
Old for you. They're like, Robert Stigwood. Is he playing at Quad Jam 24? He's not. Pretty sure he's
not.
dead. Is he dead, Geoff?
I mean, that might be a segment.
You
Is
always
he
say,
dead, Jeff?
he better. He better
better.
be. Well, you got
That's
you
the
got some
follow-up
Stigwood
segment.
beef?
Is he better be?
He better. Is this a? Do we have a sounder for the segment of he better be? Scotty, he's not. Scotty's got his little table over there that he's put up. It's also cute. Nothing like a booth. It's just a fucking ugly plastic table with a mixer.
He
on
put
top
up a
of it.
plexiglass in front of him, like those restaurants or those businesses where they're like, yeah, we're kind of doing COVID stuff still.
And
you're like,
everybody's-
are you? Why do you even bother with this? Are you?
Everybody's going up and they're doing the asshole salute to him. They're just going, and he's just like, please stop.
And then they're like, have a Cadbury egg. Because, of course, there's also Val Verde. We always have Cadbury eggs. It's not just
eat
because it's
them
spring.
all season. All season long.
The
They're
only
available
place in all of America.
And
Cal-
the world.
And the world. We start in
And the
America, we
world.
go to the world.
And we're in the world, and my God, we got a show for you this morning.
Oh, my
Of course, everybody waits every year. It's the sign that spring is here. It is Val Verde Quad Jam. Val Verde University Quad Jam. Did you go to VVU?
I was, interesting story.
Do we have
Went
an
for
do we
one
have an interesting
semester.
story sounder?
Do we have an interesting story sounder? No.
Get on that, Scotty.
Yeah, we got it because we have a lot of interesting stories.
I got an interesting story.
So I was here for one semester, failed out.
Oh.
Came back as a janitor. Got fired.
But were you
and
one of
then
those
somehow was an adjunct professor briefly.
That was my question. Were you one of those janitors where you're like, wait a second, I'm going to finish this math problem. And you go in and you finish the math problem. They're like, we've been trying to finish that math problem forever.
That's the thing. No,
So it was not a Goodwill Hunting.
They thought I was Goodwill Hunting them.
Oh, okay.
But in fact, I was standing in the teacher's lounge eating all the leftover donuts that they
and
had
writing
left.
some notes on yes.
Right, exactly. I was writing about just my feelings on long distance runaround. And then someone I got to fill in on my shift, I think they Goodwill Hunting, used my time card. All of a sudden, I'm an adjunct professor teaching macroeconomics.
Oh, my God.
And I got to tell you, I don't know about microeconomics. I don't know about macroeconomics. I don't know about economics. Let's just leave it at that.
Now, let's
A
role
lot
play
of
for a second.
students failed that year.
Oh, my God. I'm sure they did. Let's role play for a second. This is first day of class. I'm one of your slob students, like you fuckers out there watching us right now. Yeah, we'll have T-shirts for you, you fucking dirty slobs.
I'm looking at you, slob number 5.
He's like, I have to have something to wear. Shut up. Just let us do our show. Okay, so role play. I am a student. Let's just say my name is Ricky, and it's my first day at Val Verde University, and I have taken Professor Garlock's, or Professor Angryman Garlock's,
They had to give me the full title.
microeconomics class. And I'm so
this was
excited.
macro. This was macro.
Oh, well, see, that's the problem, because I was supposed to be in
Ricky
micro.
signed up for micro.
So
Let's start the role playing.
Okay, here we go.
Everyone here for macroeconomics?
Fuck.
You're in the wrong room. Ricky.
But I can learn this anyway, sir.
Fine. The best way to learn? By asking questions. How about you ask me about macroeconomics?
How is it different from microeconomics?
I think I can answer that with a little riff.
I'm in the right class after all. My dad is John Anderson from Yes.
And then they filmed that whole thing, and that was the commercial that you saw for the college all those years.
It aired forever.
Those
on,
weren't
Channel
actors.
8.
That was just real people
It was
who
real
looked like a
people.
bunch of dumbasses.
It was you and a dumbass named Ricky. And I knew you would get it. As soon as I brought you into it, I knew we would play act that commercial we saw on Channel 8 for fucking years. And
you caught me. You caught me. My former careers.
Oh, we're having a great time here. And you know what, Geoff? I have no fucking idea who is playing this festival today. But I do know who is booking this festival and who is responsible for this festival. And I think it's a friend of yours, Geoff.
Oh, it's a big friend of mine.
It is. It is a
confidant.
Confidant.
A sightseer of my life. A mage and a sage.
A mage and a sage.
I mean, of course, we got to bring him in. We're talking about the one, the only, handsome Gary Tornado.
Hey guys,
What's
so great
going
to be
on?
here. Oh my
so
gosh.
Good to see you, handsome Gary.
Don't forget the quotes around
Don't
Gary.
forget the
We all
quotes.
know
That's
that.
the weirdest part of your name, handsome. Is that Gary is your nickname.
Well, that's actually kind of how it started, was that my legal name is Handsome Tornado. And so my friends in middle school were sort of like, oh my gosh, that's such a crazy name. That's normally like the nickname that somebody would have. So we should just give you like a normal guy nickname. And then they were like, Gary it is. And it's
those were astute friends in grade school. They picked up on your life right away.
Yeah. I went to it was a really smart school.
Which school
you went to really smart school.
You went to really
one of our
smart
best
school
private
down in
schools.
Charlottesburg.
It was I went to Val Verde Really Smart School.
Oh,
fantastic.
I thought the one in Charlotte. Yeah, I fucked it up.
That one is for a bunch of dumbasses.
That's a bunch of rich dumbasses. You don't want to go to the one in Charlottesburg because seriously, that is a bunch of A-class dumbasses who already have enough money to just kill us.
They're swimming around in it like Uncle Scrooge. I mean, get out of here.
I can't stop swimming in all this money.
I'm going to kill all of you.
Do you guys think it's weird that they have a really, like, they keep immaculate track of whose money is whose in that big pool? Like, they know.
They
like,
know.
They know. It's just, you would think it would be like, oh, this is almost communism because there's just a big pool of money that everybody's swimming in. But they know, like, oh, no, that's my nickel, you know.
You learn that in TK in that school. You learn how to just by touch, smell, and taste to know whose coin is whose coin, whose gold doubloon belongs.
That's the first class. That's the first class. You got to smell it. It's called Smell It 101.
That's why they're a bunch of dumbasses. They don't learn how to read. They don't learn how to write.
But they do.
It's like a Montessori nature school times a billion. It's insane.
They do still use ducats and guilders, though, which I think
is the other part too. Because most people don't realize that the really rich people understand it ain't about the gold standard. It ain't about Bitcoin. It's about ducats and guilders.
I did a radio remote from that fucking school years ago, and after the remote, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get a bite, and I go over to the cafeteria, and they're like, sir, everything here is in Gilder, and I'm like, I have no Gilder on me. I only know one Gilder, and it was Gilder Radner.
I thought you were going to say Nick Gilder, but that's fine.
No. We're having fun.
We've never met Nick Gilder.
Oh, by the way, all the fun is brought to you by Wrap It Up, the fabulous Thunderbird Shipping Company. If you like fun on the radio, you get it courtesy of them. They are our sponsors. Wrap it up. We'll ship it. Wrap it up. We'll ship it. Oh, thank you so much. Fabulous Thunderbird Shipping Company. All your shipping needs and sponsors of the Geoff and Whisp Show.
College kids are going crazy for that. I mean, college kids, now that TikTok is loving the fabulous T-Birds, I can't believe they're going nuts for it.
TikTok is loving the fabulous T-Birds. And all of these kids have brought the lambada back because that's now the official fabulous Thunderbirds dance. They're just grinding and like, wrap it up. And like, if it's tough enough. I mean, these kids, these fucking slobs are tough enough to do a dirty dance in front of us right here at Val Verde University.
It was funny that you guys mentioned the fabulous Thunderbirds and also Stephen King, because I remembered that a big passage in The Stand, the like non-abridged one that you were talking about, is one where he talks about like how a fabulous Thunderbird song is like the most satanic evil thing you've ever heard. Wow. I feel like there's a lot of that, a lot of like describing music as being like really intense and evil sounding, and then you listen to it and it's slightly more like child appropriate than Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood. You know what I mean?
But he spends 30 pages talking about it in between just talking about how great Wonder Bread with Miracle Whip is. And he's like, what is this, Stephen?
I mean, have you had it?
I mean, I have had it. After I read that, I said, let's give it a roll. And you know what? Miracle Whip Taco works great. I love it.
Miracle Whip Taco. That was the commercial. We all remember that one.
It was a commercial. That was sung by Weird Al Yankovic. That was
Weird.
He did a parody of Dare to Be Stupid. Miracle Taco.
Miracle Whip Taco.
I think it was cool of him to stretch his policy on like having to have wordplay at all.
Oh,
it's the only cool thing he's ever.
Money talks, you know. Money talks.
Money talks.
Yeah.
And that's if you know one thing about Weird Al, money talks to that guy.
Money. He's just like, where's the ching ching? And I will, where's my Gilders? Where's my Gilders?
Exactly. Former student.
Now, I know a lot of Gilders went into this festival, Handsome.
It sure did.
I'm just going to throw out some bands who I'm pretty sure are going to be playing here today.
Yeah.
First off, Aerosmith.
Because you are a booker. You are a booker of bands.
I specialize. You have to specialize in this life. That's something that anybody will tell you. Don't do a lot of things well. Just do one thing, and then they stop. It doesn't matter if you do it well or not.
You didn't even have to pay college prices prices for the lesson that you just got from handsome Gary Tornado.
Could have
Thanks,
used that
everybody.
when I was teaching
Thank you.
macroeconomics. That would have been number one, first class.
That would have been huge for you.
And I took it really literally in my case, where I didn't just focus on one thing. I focused on one thing inside of one thing, which is cover bands are obviously really big. And then I focused on one thing inside of that, which is literally one man cover bands. Like they don't have to be one man. They can also be one woman, one non-binary
Or one
person. But what matters
Geoff
is that it's
Garlock.
like one human individual, standing in for the entire band. And there's
Right.
just a lot of sort of, again, economic efficiencies that come
Yes.
along with that. If you're, to the consumer, the value proposition is like you don't have to pay all these musicians, so therefore the cost of hiring just one musician as the entire cover band is lower. The bands love
Much
it because
lower.
then they don't have to split, a check of like a Fabulous Thunderbirds cover band with like 4, 5, 10, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 48, 62
There are
other
62
If
members
you're
of
getting
the
up to-
Wrap It Ups in Val Verde, the number one.
Polyphonic Spree saw them and we're just like, whoa, too many
we better
members.
we're going to be.
Well, that's a great example. It would be hugely expensive to hire a Polyphonic Spree cover band. What you could just call Handsome Gary Tornado, the one-man cover band booking agent, and book the Polyphonic Me, for example. Which is just one
they're
guy.
good. They
And I bet you people are
really
hiring them a
good.
lot because a lot of people want the Polyphonic Spree nowadays.
I just love that. I love the Polyphonic Me because that dude is just like microphone, guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, flutes, harps.
He's actually one of our more elaborate one-man cover bands. Most of them, for whatever reason, have found that there's just the best way to do it is a sort of, you guys seen the movie Mary Poppins?
Of course.
No.
Okay, this is
So-
an interesting one. I know something you don't. Okay.
No,
let's
could
go
you
on.
explain the movie Mary Poppin to me?
Well, specifically, I mean, I could explain the whole thing, but
Start
I've
from the
seen it-
beginning.
All right, maybe for time, let's
Okay,
just
okay,
do
okay.
3/4 of the movie.
Give me the
Okay.
gist.
So the gist in this case is that Dick Van Dyke plays a
he's funny. He's
British. He's really funny British street musician, and he
Night at the
has-
Museum, great actor. Fantastic.
Oh, he's wonderful in Night of the.
Nothing else he's ever
So
been.
he's a
So
British.
he plays he's like a one-man band basically.
I bet he's
like
Cockney.
a street
I bet
musician
he's
where he
Cockney.
has like a little. He's Cockney for sure.
Oh,
yeah, and he has a.
Scotty! Put that on your fucking plastic table, you nerd.
Wait, why is that a diss to him?
Because he said that it wasn't.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
He was saying
I'm facing
no.
away from
When
him.
I
Real
said
dick over
Cockney,
there.
when you were talking, I looked over at Scotty. I said, he bet he's Cockney. And Scotty's just like,
You can't see him behind the extra layer of plexiglass he
Boom.
just put up, but this is
Boom.
a dead-on impression. If
Boom.
you're looking at my face, now.
Well, that's a great movie. It sounds wonderful. Hey, Handsome, we're going to come back to you here in just a second. But first, we do have to go to traffic. 108.9 The Hawk Traffic with Art Spart. Oh, no. Art says he's got to go. Go, John 5. Whoa! Well, if that didn't make it clear to you, Val Verde, we have a traffic problem down on Hawk Street. And it's not the Long Island amorphous rock band Blue Oyster Cult. No, the answer to your traffic woes is in the second half of that ditty I just sang you. That's right. Currently, the weirdo virtuoso guitarist John 5 is in town, and he is not playing a concert, that is. But he is playing guitar. Yep, John 5 is currently lumbering down Hog Street, playing some sweep arpeggios and using his Buckethead-style signal cutoff switch non-stop. And he could not look more bored playing. Now, I talked to my sources of all things rock, Eddie Trunk. And Trunk informs me that this supposed master of the fretboard has gotten tired of playing guitar, but he can't stop. Playing session musician and clinics nonstop around the world has made his brain break, and he is taking it out on Val Verde, the part of his brain that ever said, "Hey, John 5, you don't have to play guitar anymore if you don't want. We will all be fine if you stop." Truly. Well, that's gone. Now he is an unstoppable fretboard killing machine. And in the words of Kyle Reese from Terminator, he will not stop, ever, until you are dead. Or just as tired of hearing tightly picked riffs as he is of playing them. So Marilyn Manson's answer to Adrian Ballou is currently just walking down the streets of Val Verde, burning up the 6-string axe with a dead look in his eyes and blocking all traffic. Fortunately, Mayor David Lee Roth has called out the reserves to stop this guitar machine. And when I say reserves, I, of course, mean the YouTube Guitarist Reserves. A collection of young and scrappy 18-year-old guitarists who can all play riffs that would make Nuno Betancourt's head explode. And they all do it like they are about to fall asleep on a pillow of digital wahs. So get ready for a lot more shredding until the terror ends, and get ready to stay indoors until the traffic subsides, or someone pries that guitar out of John Five's cold, dead hands. Just another day in Val Verde, and another day from the Bert's Funeral Flowers traffic desk. I'm Art Smart with 108.9 The Hawk.
With Bert's Funeral Flowers, with Bert's Funeral Flowers.
Oh my God, well, we're going to be coming down. Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam? Is Pearl Jam here today?
Pearl Jam is not here. However, Earl Jam is here.
Earl Jam, he's fantastic.
Yeah, Earl Jam is probably
so
my
good.
premier act. People love Earl Jam. They're so popular that they've actually even spawned Stephen Flow, the ultimate Earl Jam tribute. There's a one-man tribute band to the one-man tribute
To
band.
the tribute band. That's beautiful.
Gotta tribute the tribute.
We're going to hear about it coming up. Right now, it's Pearl Jam on the Hog. Live from the Val Verde Hog Pond. Creed. With special guests, Daughtry. And local heroes, Fister.
I'm gonna get you wet. We're sleeping in the water park tonight.
Water Park. Creed, live from the Val Verde Hog Pond. This hog pond hasn't been this violated since 1983, when Quiet Riot made everyone take their clothes off. Clothes off. Creed. Yep, they're back, but there's nothing we can do about it, so we might as well embrace it. Get your tickets from any tickets outlets, or keep listening to 108.9 The Hawk for your chance to win. Creed, Daughtry, Fister, Hog Pond.
Hey, this is Geoff the Angry Man Garlock.
And this is Jason Gore, and I know you are just like the two of us, just obsessed with Wordle.
You know I am, Jason. You keep showing me your scores, and I keep showing you mine. It's insane.
So many green blocks. Well, we love that game so much that we decided to make our own version of Wordle. Yep, it's 108.9's own Hawkle.
That's right, 108.9 The Hawk has our own game brought to you by us here at 108.9 The Hawk and the Val Verde Rag, Val Verde's greatest newspaper. No words for these solutions, just pictures of classic rock album covers.
That's right. You have 5 chances, and each chance just a little old piece of a classic rock album cover will show up. The perfect game for all lovers of classic rock.
And lovers of 108.9 The Hawk. And unlike Wordle, this ain't once a day. No, we have a new puzzle every 3 minutes on 108.9thehawk.com because there are so many great album covers out there and we want to play them all. From Jethro Tull, Thick as a Brick, to Rush's Fly By Night.
I tell you, it seems fun, and I don't see anything going wrong with it.
Not at all, Jason. Not at all. Can't wait to show you my Hawkle score.
Not if I show you first. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, no ho! James Hetfield's listen to
108.9 The Hawk. Oh, it coming back. Feel it coming back. Hey, please tell me you've got more wine. The tribute to Lakini's Juice. The tribute to Live. Are they playing Quad Jam?
They're not, but Clive, the one-man live cover band, is playing.
Yes. Oh.
Clive is good, though. Clive sounds exactly like Ed Kowalczyk.
I just wanted to hear that one part in Lakini's Juice where he's like, more wine.
Well,
does Clive do that part?
He does, but also he's also blowing a harmonica at the same time, so it's somewhat distorted by the harmonica that he has in a sort of a
That's the way I always pictured it, though, you know, and that's the beauty. Like when I listen to music, most of the time I think, could this be done by one person?
Could it be one person
Could
doing
this just be one? I mean, are we just showing off here? Not to get off on an angry Geoff the Angry Man Garlock rant here, but I mean, can you get
are
my
you?
sounder for the show? I'm getting off on a rant here.
And what's really amazing is that actually.
Oh, hold on, I got a rant.
Hold on,
I need a rant.
Handsome, hold on.
Look, I don't want to get off on a Geoff the Angry Man Garlock rant here, but I just gotta say, what are we doing having all these musicians playing music when we could just have one musician playing the music?
Yeah.
I think stop showing off and start getting real. The real world one-man music bands. And that's just, I just had to say, I just had to get off on a rant here.
I'm glad you did. Because I got something to say, too. I got
you know what?
something to
Throw
say.
the sounder on.
Okay, here we go. I just had to back announce what we were just playing. Because we forgot to do that. Because it's all rock, all Hawk. The new classic rock is right here on 108.9 The Hawk. Yeah, sure, sometimes you're going to hear some Deep Purple. Yeah, sure. Maybe every 6 hours we'll play one Led Zeppelin song. But you're going to hear something off of Throwing Copper by Live at least twice an hour. And that was Lightning Crashes on 108.9 The Hawk.
I got to say, that was the most earned segment we've maybe ever done. Because
that
legally,
really
we do actually have to tell you what we're playing.
We have to back announce it. Thumbs up from Scotty. Oh, that's really good. But we're down here at Val Verde University Quad Jam on the quad. You can hear all the kids, all these. I mean, seriously, bathe first. You college kids think you can just maybe shower the night before and then go to class.
You were supposed to learn in middle school.
You really need to clean yourselves.
Underarm, showering. You're going to start sinking. None of you did.
Oh my God! Is that going to affect the show at all today, Handsome?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that their smells might stand out a little bit more because in a usual music festival, you have probably 3 to 5 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 92 to 112.
That's a lot.
Acts, people per act, and so their
Metallica S&M.
A touring musician smells pretty, crazy. It gets pretty funky in the van. But there's just way fewer performers today because all of the acts are one-man cover bands, so the smell of the crowd might be a little more pronounced for sure. But I do think that it's first of all, Geoff, I want to say thank you for advocating for one man or one person music. I think that's
he's
really
been doing it for years.
important.
He's been doing it for years.
And a lot of people will say, oh no, that actually makes sense. I think today you have people like Reggie Watts or some people where it's they have sequencers and pedals and stuff, and they can make kind of make quote unquote one man music. But I think let's really take it back to musicianship. Let's really take it back to just having a big bass drum and a harmonica and cymbals between your knees. I think that's really what one man music is all about.
I prefer Reggie Potts, the one man tribute to Reggie Watts.
That is
who
fantastic.
does everything that Reggie Watts would do with a pedal. He does it with pots.
Because you understand that's what the roots of this music is all about. It's like when people are I like the true punk rock, the garage rock from the Nuggets box setting. You never stop talking about it. And speaking of smell, when people are saying that, they usually have a smell.
God.
Because they are at a record fair.
You're at a record
many
fair.
times.
You're just gotta get out of here.
And Geoff, thank you for that segue. I really appreciate it. We do have the one man roots cover band, the Stoots. And he also doubled as it's a guy named Stu, and he also doubles as a Rusted root cover band named Rusted Stew.
Oh my God!
Send me on my way.
Send me on my way over to the stage at Val Verde.
It's actually one of the least confusing interpretations of that song that you'll ever hear, because when he says "send me on my way" in the actual Rusted Root song, you're there's 8, 12, 15, 75 guys on stage. Who's me? Who's me referring to? Whereas in this case, it's you're just oh, it's Stu.
It's clear.
He means send me on my way.
It's Stu wants you.
This is what I say every time I'm watching a concert. I'm just who are you? Who am I listening to? Who is the subject of the song? And that's why, again, I have to say, handsome Gary Tornado, I want to commend you and I respect you for supporting my art, because as you all know, and I'm not talking about art, smart art, calm down over there. That's a good one. That was for art. As the listeners of 108.9 The Hawk know, I have my own one-man tribute band to Aerosmith. Deuces are mild.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's quote unquote Gary.
I lose it every time.
He's the one who told me, hey, look, man, I got no problem with you doing a one-man tribute to Aerosmith. That's the way it should be. Hey, and he put his hands up. They were up.
Hey.
They were right by.
It's like like an old timey, like I've got a saloon pistol, like right at you here.
And I was like, hands up here. But then he says, let me just throw
salute.
something your way. If you want to get in the real circuit, you want to get in the real one-man band circuit, you want to get NACA to hear you and say, let's get you into colleges, you got to have a big old kick drum. You got to put some cymbals in between your knees. And you got to have a kazoo that's going to match up with Steven Tyler's scatting.
I got to say,
and it took Deuces Are Mild almost into saying Deuces Are Wild because it sounded so great, but I kept it with Deuces Are Mild because that was the original name.
And I think a lot of artists couldn't take that note, and I think you did. And I think it's so important because it is really a business at the end of the day. And what people don't understand about NACA is mostly the main like performance space is just for stand-ups because NACA is like a lot of stand-ups and stuff. So if you're a band
NACA
going
is the group that books all the assholes that do the stuff here at the
colleges. They're like, you want to make a lot of money standing in a cafeteria and having people not pay attention to you while you're doing some improv lap make-em-ups.
I thought it was all Paul McCartney, and he was like, well, we're going to send Seven Dust over to Val Verde University.
I mean, knowing NACA, I'm sure he's behind NACA. I mean, that guy's a workhorse. We've heard it before.
There's actually a little bit of
God are playing Val Verde Community College.
It's a bit of a sore subject for me because I have been hoping to book the one-man Paul McCartney tribute band. Give my regards to Todd Street. But
Todd is so good as McCartney.
It's a little bit. I would like to expand my brand because I mostly do bands that then collapse down to one person. I would like to get into one-man solo act covers, but that's a whole different thing. But that could really break me. And it's funny that you mentioned Deep Purple earlier.
Yes.
Because we do have coming up really soon, and people should get down here if they want to hear it. It's not just students that can come; anybody can come. The one-woman Deep Purple cover band, Deep Purple, will be down here. It's an old woman named Pearl. I mean, she's older, but she was around for Deep Purple the first time. That's just
which mock is she doing though? Is she doing original? Is she mock 1?
Or is this like Deep Purple mock 17? That's just what I'm hoping for.
She's doing mock 1, but she has a mock 3 razor that she integrates into her act because again, a lot of one-man band music, it's very kind of jangly and like you might use pots and pans, like you were saying. You might use different, precisely.
Yep. Space trekking,
come down,
shaky.
And you would have thought like, oh, you'll want to pigeonhole her. Her name is Pearl. You would want to pigeonhole her into being a Pearl Jam one person.
I would never do that to her, though. Yeah, exactly. I would never do that to her.
I would do that to Pearl.
And that's the thing, I would, because you haven't seen then her act, because it is beautiful. When she does her version of Hush, the cymbals between her knees are so loud that you almost can't hear her shaving a balloon with that Mach 3, which you don't notice in the original version of Hush.
She's shaving a balloon.
Richie Blackmore is actually, there is a layer of him shaving a balloon.
Yes. And
it was so much harder back then because it was single razors. They didn't have that.
Nothing like Hush for the first 4 minutes of her performance of that song.
God,
You're just like, wait a second, is this Hush? Is it? We were looking back and forth because I'm like, this could be Highway Star.
But if you've heard the stems on Hush, you know what it is.
I've got the stems on Hush. Wish we could play them here, but nope. We got to play fucking live. And that's what we do on So Much Live here. The new classic rock is on 108.9 The Hawk. And
that's a reminder, at 12 o'clock, we'll be doing our So Much Live block where we have to play 5 songs of live. And
all over you, all over me.
We leave our mics on for that, and we just complain the whole time. So you can hear us not being happy.
I need more wine during the 12 o'clock hour, if you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, Kingston. Oh my God, don't let Kingston near these slob college kids. That is a lawsuit waiting to happen from him.
Hey, speaking of lawsuits, no, that doesn't really work. There's no lawsuits here. But Jason Gore's here, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about rock news. Go ahead and take it, Jason. Thank you, guys. Here we go. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of good rock news. I do. And my God, guys, it is crazy what's going on in rock news today. First off, Slayer has reunited, ladies and gentlemen. Slayer has reunited, and we're all excited about it. Those angry guys finally got it back together. First shows in 5 years they're playing all these different festivals, no Val Verde dates. Geoff, what do you think about that?
I mean, if you were at their first farewell tour, sorry to hear it. If you were at their second farewell tour,
oopsies to you.
Oopsie,
Oops all berries.
To you,
Oops all berries.
Because look, when Tom Araya starts running out of that weed, you know he's got to get Slayer back on, even if him and Kerry King hate each other's guts. But that's the beauty of Slayer. It's the anger that pushes them through. And you know what? I'm just going to say, I'm not angry about this one. I hope they have 20 more reunions. Let's just keep it going.
Too. I hope they do too. Hey, Handsome, what is there a one-man Slayer here at the festival today? Are we going to get a one-man Slayer?
We are not going to get a one-man Slayer because I did have I've been workshopping, I had a guy who's kind of woodshedding as that, but he ultimately decided to go with Prayer. Which is a pre-existing Christian Slayer band. And that's something that can really happen because I really develop these artists and I can sort of be training them up on, getting them to learn the catalog and everything like that. And then that makes them a really good candidate to get scooped up by one of these larger multi-person cover bands, that can make all these kind of promises.
You do have Cannibal Chris playing, though, for us today, which is a fantastic Cannibal Corpse one-man band. And when he plays I Come Blood, it looks like his knees are going to buckle.
Oh, my God.
When he tries to do the blast
he's playing I Come Blood by Cannibal Corpse. Oh,
that's what all the college kids are saying. Cannibal Chris is so good when he plays I Come Blood.
Would you guess that he and Pearl from Deep Purple are best friends? Because they are. I mean,
I would have never guessed that.
I would never guessed
it. It's not about,
Talk about rock news right there.
Talk about rock news. We are in the right segment. Hey, moving on. More rock news for you. Paul McCartney reunited with his stolen bass guitar. After 50 years, the iconic musician found his bass guitar that was stolen in 1969, thanks to a fan who spotted it online and alerted him. Wow. Thoughts, guys?
I mean, I'm just going to say thank God that Paul McCartney can finally write some new music.
Oh,
he's been waiting since 1969.
Can't do anything without that one bass.
Man, Macca has been so lazy lately. But, now that maybe he can finally write some more songs.
Finally put out another album. And
he's been too busy running NACA because he didn't have his bass guitar. So,
and his two restaurants in Val Verde, Wings, and Sir Mac and Cheese. Now, the nice thing is the bass guitar is going to be on display at Sir Mac and Cheese starting this Thursday in Val Verde Commons. So if you want to go down there, Val Verde Commons, get a nice plate of Sir Mac and Cheese. But
vegan. If you're going to Wings, you ain't going to see that bass.
And here's the crazy thing. Yeah, it ain't going to be at Wings.
It ain't going to be at Wings.
I've always wanted to ask you about this, Geoff, Gary, nickname. I've always wanted to ask, why is it vegan mac and cheese at Sir Mac and Cheese when Paul McCartney is vegetarian and he's not vegan?
Because he's a workhorse. Because he's always like, the easy thing to do is this. Let me make it harder on myself.
That makes sense.
And there is so much nutritional yeast all over this bass that he reunited now, and it is a wonderful sight, I tell you.
If you want to see a bass that was stolen in 1969 that is just covered in nutritional yeast, you got to head on down to Val Verde Commons this Thursday at Sir Mac and Cheese. You were saying something, Gary?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I think when you achieve that level of fame and success before you're 30, you have to constantly be challenging yourself and finding new avenues. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not. You're going to stagnate.
This is what you told me when I was doing Deuces Are Mild. And I was like, God. Well, I'm 42 and I've started this. And you're like, well, better late than later. And, I was like, wow, you really are full of advice, Gary.
I was saying, I was just like, look, if you want to catch up to the other because there's big one-man Aerosmith cover bands already in the space, and if you want to overtake them, not only are you already behind because of your age, but you're just already behind because you got to confront, Boy in the Attic. You got to confront Honkin' on JoJo.
Wait. JoJo has done a Honkin' on Bobo cover band?
Joe has.
Oh, I thought it was JoJo.
Oh, it's not the music. It's not the R&B artist JoJo.
No, that's what I was.
That would have been a really good one.
Playing I've always wanted to hear JoJo do his version of Aerosmith's version of Roadrunner.
Yeah. You do always say that. But instead, you're stuck watching Dude Looks Like a Gary.
Dude looks like a Gary.
Which hardly makes sense. But guys, you're just all right, Gary, go with it.
I have to go do some station business, but let me do my jingle real quick and get out of rock news, and that is... Doctor, that was the news. You had a bad case of good rock news. We'll see you in the next hour with more rock stories. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Jason. That was really good.
My God, Jason has pipes that I did not realize he had.
No, he should be singing for JoJo's. I wasn't really listening. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, there's just many Aerosmith cover bands.
Have you ever thought, and I think about this every time I'm in the limo being brought over to the Poseidon Radio building, and I'm thinking, what if JoJo did his own, R&B singer JoJo?
Wisp, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you there. You have to keep your headphones on when you go to take a dump while Jason Gore does his good rock segment.
Road runner. What's that, Scotty? Okay.
It's time for weather on 108.9 The Hawk.
Well, we're down here at Val Verde University on the quad of Val Verde University, and Jesus Christ, is it cold.
It is freezing.
Holy, where everyone's shivering. Does that impact the one-man acts in any way? Are they just like, does temperature affect them in any way, Handsome Gary?
They have so much gear on them and also sort of like old-fashioned chimney sweep attire that they're pretty warm.
Wow. So they're all wearing old-fashioned, no matter what group they're doing. They all have to. Is that a creed? Is that something?
It's just a cultural thing. Yeah, it's just sort of something
that
you know. It's.
Can you believe when I would play Deuces Are Mild, there was a long time I wasn't covered in chimney soot.
I know.
Can you even believe
I don't think he's really a real one-man band.
That's what people start. I could hear it every time I'd stop a song. I could hear people in the crowd just muttering, "I don't think he's a real one-man band." I was like, "What am I going to do?" And then all of a sudden, I saw Handsome Gary just smiling at me, and he came at me like a tornado full of chimney soot.
Yeah, and it can be really easy to hear crowd chatter like that because in most, again, traditional sort of one-man band music, there's not amplification. It's all just about sort of, what the noise that you can make with your bass drum and your accordion and your harmonica and your cymbals. Yeah, exactly. And so it's really, really easy to hear stuff like that, and that can get in people's heads, all the time.
They didn't have PAs in vaudeville. And that's what you told me. You started just screaming that too. They don't have PAs in vaudeville. I was like,
they don't have PAs in vaudeville.
I was just talking to Grant from Alien Grant Farm about this. They're having a big moment right now. People are talking about Smooth Criminal. People are remembering Alien Ant Farm. It's sort of coming back in a big way. They're having a moment, and so I was just saying, you got to be ready, man. You got to be ready for your moment. You can't let this kind of stuff get in your head. Now get on this top hat with the top punched out, and get out there. And
when that original song came
play
out,
Movies.
Oh God, Movies is Movies is unsung, and just like the movie.
That's what people forget when they buy that copy of the best of Alien Ant Farm. They think it's just going to be 12 Smooth Criminals, but no, it's 11 Smooth Criminals, and then Movies is right in the middle.
One Movies, and then the 12-inch mix.
The 12-inch mix, which is 1 second longer, and you're like,
okay, 1 second, I guess so.
Here.
I gotta say this, guys.
Honestly, real quick. I was just going to say, I actually am among those people who was disappointed by that because I think most of the market for the best of Alien Ant Farm that you imagine is just going to be Smooth Criminal 12 times are people who only listen to CD players, but the repeat button on their CD players is broken.
Oh, God.
Wow. I hate that demographic.
That's bigger than you would think.
What a very specific demo.
Yeah, 1%.
But it'll bite you in the ass, that specific demo.
I was hanging out.
It's a real 1%er problem right there.
Was that your Bernie? Were you doing your Bernie just now?
That was my Bernie.
Gary,
Sanders.
was that your Bernie as well?
Was you doing a Bernie? Because I was doing a Bernie. Wait, Wisp, are you doing a Bernie?
At the same time. We're going to do it. 3, 2, 1. 1% of
1%ers of the 1%ers are buying the Alien Ant Farm CD players on repeat.
I was a young boy of
I do have to say,
but Bernie Sanders does love a Cadbury cream egg.
Oh my God! I do have to say, when your story about the Alien Grant Farm, I do remember when that Alien Ant Farm cover of Smooth Criminal came out, and I was sitting at Neverland Ranch with my very good best friend in the entire world, Michael Jackson.
Well, this is a problematic story. Go on. Even I think it's problematic.
No. We were having a good time. We were on the Ferris wheel, and we were listening to K-Slob, and he was like, "Hey, what is that? Me? Is that me, Michael Jackson?"
Oh my God, this is a dead-on Michael Jackson.
Thank you.
Let's all do our Michael Jacksons.
Wait a second. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Is that me? Michael Jackson. I don't remember recording this. He jumped off of the Ferris wheel. He jumped off the Ferris wheel, a backflip, kicked 2 of his workers.
Oh my God.
And then went to destroy Alien Ant Farm. He did the hat thing. He landed on the hat thing. And then he's like, I'm going to kill Alien Ant Farm. And that's the last I ever saw Michael Jackson. I hope I see him again. I haven't heard from him since.
Gary, let's not catch him up on that.
Okay. Hey, coming up in the next segment, we're going to have college kids asking their questions about what it's like to be a booker of one-man bands. They're going to ask Handsome Gary all the questions you want. There's a line over here.
Because just be ready to work. That's all I'll say. Just be ready to work. You know,
the lines are so logged for these questions.
Oh, but hey, when I think about classic rock, I think about the year that I listened to a lot of classic rock. And that year was 1979. And apparently, that's also classic rock now, according to our music director, Jason Gore. So, do-do-do, that's the sound that he made into the mic. Whoa, Cadbury.
Oh, Billy Corgan loves a Cadbury cream egg.
Hey everyone, it's Big Truck telling all of y'all I'm going to be hopcasting live at Flappers this Thursday from 3 to 6 because it's Flappers Spring Ding Fling Wing. You know that. Spring Ding Fling Wing. Everybody knows that. It's a very common thing. They do it every year. That means they bring out wings you ain't never, ever tried. And I'm going to be trying them all live on air. Wings like Lava Mouth, Val Verde Hot, Diablo, Gravy Legs, Choo Choo I'm a Train Now, Burning in Hell, Mushroom Diver, and Sriracha. So if you want to be part of it, come on out to Flappers 3232 Hog Street this Thursday from 3 until 6 and try out some of these damn new wings with me. I may even have a Hawk t-shirt for you. So come on out. It's Big Truck, Hawkcasting on 108.9 The Hawk. Toot toot.
4 ex-CIA operatives turned Philadelphia cops turned garbage men who take out the trash, literally and figuratively. Robert Ginty, Treat Williams, Powers Booth, and Steve James are the Garbage Men. On the Channel 8 Action Afternoon Blowout. Channel 8, your home for great shit.
Hey folks, Jason Gore here.
And Geoff the Angry Man Garlock.
And we are here to say
we are sorry for Hawkle.
We are sorry for Hawkle.
Sorry. Wow.
We are so sorry for Hawkle. My
that
God.
Game really went off the rails quick, and we are very sorry for it.
Look, we are classic rock DJs, not computer programmers or game designers. Jeez.
Neither of us are Will Shorts or The Waz.
Oh, God.
I don't know why we thought we could do the programming for Hawkle ourselves.
Well, we did watch that YouTube video on how to program.
Right. Well, I mean, we skimmed the video. Either way, no excuses. Look, algorithms are confusing.
So confusing.
We had no idea that Hawkle would make every answer the most offensive rock album cover in history.
A Blind Faith's self-titled album.
Black Crowes Amorica with the pubic hair.
Scorpions Virgin Killer.
Scorpions Love Drive.
Scorpions Animal Magnetism.
Scorpions Blackout. That one isn't like gross, but it just kind of makes me feel weird. I mean, just across the board, apologies for all of the Scorpions albums. We're sorry.
Spinal Tap, Smell the Glove. Not even real. Why was it in there?
Nirvana's Nevermind.
And the list goes on and on. Really, I mean, classic rock. What were you thinking with all of those covers? Not even cool at the time.
And what were we thinking with Hawkle? Wow.
Either way, we will fix this. We are sorry. And we already sold the whole game to Pornhub. So, problem solved.
The world's greatest podcast about a fictional classic rock radio station. 108.9 The Hawk.
What is happening?
Put it in my veins.
Oh my God.
Into my veins right now, please.
I feel alive. First time in forever.
Oh,
Black Sabbath with Iron Man. Black
More
Sabbath with
wine
our Savior.
More wine indeed.
More wine indeed. Is that what he was singing about in Lakini's Juice?
In Lakini's Juice, Ed Kowalkick.
El Kowalkick.
I'll take another glass of that from Sabbath Paranoid, please, on 108.9 The Hawk.
Well, have you had Kowalkick wine, though?
Have you had? Oh, God.
His vineyard is fantastic.
I'm running my limo on it.
Oh my God! It's because it's pure ethyl alcohol.
It is pure.
It's like, what is he thinking? We're not going to be alive after drinking this thing.
Yeah.
I've just felt like, I'm a little skeptical of all that kind of like wine stop stuff, but I did have it, and I have to agree with the bottle. There are notes of floor placenta.
Oh my!
Wow! You can really,
you
can really smell it. You can really.
I
taste
went out to wineries, and Ed gave me the tour, and he's like, "This is the placenta room, and it's just a bunch of workers putting placenta on a table and then just slapping it on the ground. And when you hear a placenta hit the floor, that's the part that's in the 12-inch."
Of drowning pools' bodies.
No, not drowning pool bodies.
Oh, I thought it was
crashes.
when the placenta hits the floor.
No. It's in lightning crashes.
Uh-huh.
Not lightning strikes. Lightning strikes. That's also in The Shining.
Yes,
not The Shining. The Stand. That's also in the Stand.
And in The Shining, when the bear is given a blowjob.
Yeah.
I should just say real quick before we move on, if you're a fan of either Jewel or Drowning Pool, we have Drowning Jewel coming up, which is, of course, Jewel's side project, which is a one-person Drowning Pool.
I'm a fan of both. College kids, are you all a fan of both Drowning Pool and Sarah McLachlan?
Put on the PJs and drop to the...
It's sort of taking Jewel back to her folk roots. She loves it, but she was like, I don't just want to go back. I got to go forward. And so the only way forward is to cover Drowning Pool songs on old-fashioned, old-timey London street musician instruments.
And she starts doing that yodeling, and it's like, this kind of works.
3 p.m. today, right here at Val Verde University Quad Jam. Now, who's on stage right now, Handsome Gary?
Right now we have, it's funny that you just played an actual Black Sabbath song, because people could have been forgiven to think it was already playing, because obviously we had Jack Sabbath up earlier, and then right now on stage we have Max Sabbath. But if people are coming to see what is pretty indisputably the best Black Sabbath one-man cover band out there, Black Sabbath, she is not.
She's
here.
good.
She's not there. She is very
good.
No, but
and to be honest with you, I'm doing a little bit of sort of weird manipulation and Svengali stuff, because I'm trying to keep her apart from Jack Sabbath and also Max Sabbath, because one of the biggest threats to your bottom line as a booking agent, and we can get into this more when we talk to the kids about a career as a one-man band booking agent, but you got to keep all the individual acts that cover the same act from getting together and just forming a multi-person cover band.
So are you saying in a way that we have to keep them separated? Who is the Offspring one-man band?
Geoff Spring, which like Geoff.
Jeff,
Spring.
is that you?
It's not me. Weirdly, it's not me.
Is that not? Why didn't God?
It was taken. I would love to have been in Geoff Spring.
Yeah, he's British.
But
you are in pretty fly for a Jeff guy. That's yours.
I was.
Yes.
Yes. But
Another
only
girl
briefly
say,
till I
"I'm pretty
kicked myself
fly
out.
for a Jeff guy."
And again, that song just rings so much more clearly when it's only one person on stage
1000%.
saying,
every song
I'm
rings
pretty fly
clearly
for a white guy. Yeah,
when
exactly.
it's one person.
With
And
zero
everyone,
justification.
whenever you see Kiss, that's why everyone is not paying attention until Beth comes on.
Nope. Peter Criss comes out, he's singing Beth, and everyone's like, finally, some music is playing.
Even when he was kicked out of the band, they all are sitting there waiting for Peter Criss to just wander on stage.
Just looking at
and
their
he did
watches.
it 90 times.
Anytime, and he's like, fuck, he is here. We didn't think.
all
we
right.
told security to tase him the moment he pulls into the parking lot.
I'm Peter Criss here, guy.
This is killing me. Everybody's going to think that I'm just trying to like make you guys, I passed you guys like talking points earlier just to set up my acts, but closing night one tonight we have headlining is Chris, Chriss, which is obviously the one-man cover band of Kiss. That's just a guy named Chris, but he ironically doesn't do any Peter Criss songs.
Oh, well,
that is very ironic.
That is ironic. Won't be there for that.
But yeah, I'm not going to argue with him about that. That's his values. We're all about.
Speaking of ironic, do you have an Alanis Morissette?
Is there an Alanis Morissette?
One-person tribute band?
Not yet. I haven't been able to crack Alanis Morissette.
It's hard to come up with a name for that one. I don't know what it would be.
Thank
Alanis?
you, India.
And again, for me, it's not even about coming up with, it's just about running across a person that actually then has that name that you would want to do.
What if it's
jerking off Joey?
What if
maybe jerking off Joey?
No, that is rude and crude and everything.
That's rude, crude, and lewd.
What if you find?
Do you have a rude dog tribute band? It's rude, crude, and lewd.
No, I had a question. My question.
Sorry.
It's going crazy down here at the quad. But my question is, what if you
I got a question too?
Shut up,
Just shut up, Keg Stand. Let him talk.
What if you find a person named Frank who likes the music of Alanis Morissette, and you convince him to do Frank You India?
Wow.
Guys, you're never going to believe this. I'm actually literally, and I've been pursuing her for months. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to scotch the deal. I didn't want to seem desperate. She's not a client yet, but I am getting a call literally right now from Alanis Morissette, a woman named Laura who covers Alanis Morissette songs. And again, that's going to be huge for me because I mostly, again, just work with people who are one-man cover bands of like full-on bands with like 120 or 200 or 1,900 members.
1,900 members.
Classic rock setup.
Oh.
Bands
Okay,
like, yeah.
That band, that she could play with a brim full of Astrid, the corner shop.
My favorite corner shop one-man band. Oh, they're so good. But the mics are
So
set
good.
up. The kids have been waiting
again,
a
the
while.
slobs out here. The college kids want a
Take those
corner
mics down,
shop
guys.
cover
Take those
band.
mics down. We're not going to need them. I told them a million times we don't need those mics. The music is not amplified whatsoever.
Okay. Let's go over here to mic number 1. Let's. You have a question for
okay,
Handsome.
not for the music, for the
No,
students.
not
I
for the
understand.
music.
Okay, great.
Jesus,
and that's why
Gary.
I'm so glad
thought
we
you were
have
in
all
the
those
business.
mics.
Why
that
we're
we would
here
have
to
used on
guide
the
you,
stage.
God.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Fair enough,
Okay,
that's
now
fair
Mike 1 over here. You got a question for this this guy here who's just blowing it all of a sudden. Mike 1, who you got a question for Handsome Gary?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm on mic 2.
Wait, I'm Mike. Yeah, these slobs.
Mike
They can't
1,
figure
Doc.
out which
you
Mike.
are
Mike
Mike
1.
2. Do it. Mike 1.
Mike 1, you're first. Mike 2, you're second. Jeez, 1 and 2. Idiots.
Okay, fine. Do you ever think that a one-man band, like, if there's tragedy, do you think that maybe you should have someone else on stage just in case, like my dad, for example, he was the one-man Marshall Tucker band, Marshall Tucker Grant. He died.
Grant from Marshall Tucker. Grant. That's so sorry. I'm so sad to hear
And
that. That's a
that he was-
notorious incident in the community.
in
That's kind of
power.
our Altamont. Yeah.
He died in the middle of Can't You See? He was doing that. He was at the part where it was like, Can't you see? And then he collapsed. And we couldn't see. We didn't know what that woman was going to do.
Maybe
Don't
if there
you
was
think
someone
it
else
would-
there.
Don't
They
you?
would've
Yeah.
seen.
Don't you think you should have someone on? At least could. I don't
All
know.
right, cut
play
the mic. We can't
harmonica.
have him
I'm so-
cry.
I'm-
Can we answer the question, but cut the
Okay,
mic?
Jesus.
I'm
That
so
is a good
sorry
idea.
to. I mean, I can tell that his emotion is real and his experience is very real,
Yeah,
and we all know
my
about
God.
it. I mean, you guys might not be as familiar with it, but I definitely am. And I know what you're saying, but I think the argument that sometimes people bring up is like there's like a show must go on thing, where as though if actual Marshall Tucker died in the middle of Can't You See in a Marshall Tucker band show,
The other
they
Marshall
wouldn't keep-
Tuckers would
They
step
wouldn't
in.
keep going with the show, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they would get him.
Oh,
help
you don't
no
think
matter
so?
what. I don't think so.
I have
no.
heard that there are understudy Marshall Tuckers that'll automatically just pop right up.
This is a Deep Purple situation.
Like
This is
sort
like
of the
Marshall Tucker
Prestige
Mach
kind of
7
thing?
at this point.
It's like the Psy video that everyone's watching on TikTok where he lunches out of the stage.
I love that. Yeah,
He's
I love
like
that
tucked
video.
down and he just shoots up and it's like Gangnam Style. It's just like that, but it is loaded with another Marshall Tucker. So when Marshall Tucker's like, can't you see? Boom, stage shoots out another Marshall Tucker.
Which
The
was a
bassist
Marshall Tucker
pulls the
band
other one
album
off.
loaded with another Marshall Tucker.
Loaded
we didn't
with
pick
another
up on
Marshall
those
Tucker.
clues.
The bassist knows to pull Marshall 1 off the stage, start doing CPR while the rest of the band, the show must go on.
Yeah, I think again, I just feel really, really awkward that like people are gonna think that I set you guys up to just like nonstop promo my actual acts. But ending night 2, and I am gonna spoil it a little bit. We will have Psy, the singer, Korean K-pop star Psy,
Yes.
not doing Psy, not doing his music, not doing that whole thing. He's going to be doing Psy Bloody Valentine. And I just want to say you haven't lived until you've heard K-pop star Psy do none of his music, and instead
all of Loveless
take little
All of
rinky dink
Loveless.
sort of Fisher Price instruments strapped into his body, and then just try to replicate Kevin Shields' immaculate wall of noise.
And he's
Oh
not
my
going to be
God.
playing as Side Dive because that's for the real heads, if you know what I mean.
That's for the real heads.
No, but we will have Mo Dive, the slow dive one man.
Fantastic.
Mo, a guy named Mo.
And they also do covers of the songs by Mo. It works out for everyone. It's just wonderful.
And those are long. Those are really long.
Oh my God, they're freaking
Now,
long.
I have heard, and I don't want to spoil anything, but coming up at the dinner o'clock hour, you're going to have Spoon Doug, a tribute to Soundgarden's Spoon Man. Now, Spoon Doug is actually Spoon Man's brother,
Doug.
Doug.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's going to come and just play the solo.
Yeah,
from
and
Spoon
Just the
Man.
solo.
a favor that he's doing to me, and I've intimated to him. And again, I am kind of doing a little bit of manipulation. Like, you have to be doing that sort of stuff if you want to be an impresario in this industry. I told him that if he did Spoon Doug, that I would sign 3 Doug Night, his one-man.
Oh my God,
3 Doug
That's
Night
his
cover
dream.
band.
That's what that's his dream.
That's
the other
his
thing is,
thing.
it's like Gallagher too.
Right, precisely. Yeah, totally. So,
I mean, that's why when I was talking to Buster, which is of course the one-man Guster cover band, where he dresses as Phil Collins in the movie Buster. He was pissed because he got bumped.
One of the more high concept acts.
Oh, but he got bumped because of three Doug Night. And I mean,
pissed.
I was just like, look, there's no room for
problem.
Buster if there's 3 Doug Night, man. But I don't know.
Well, we're having a great time down here at the Val Verde University Quad for Quad Jam 24. Handsome Gary Tornado, we love you. We love talking to you about this. We're so glad this is a Handsome Gary Tornado joint all day long. You could get all the one-man bands that you've ever wanted.
I'm not angry that I'm not booked today. I just have to say,
well, you're busy.
It is a little upsetting.
You're here.
You got to earn your stripes. You got to earn your stripes. You got to bang that little bass drum.
Yeah.
And by stripes, I mean literally a lot of the jackets that people wear are old, like decommissioned World War I outfits that actual soldiers would have worn. And then a lot of one-man bands were guys that would lose like a leg or an arm in World War I and come back and not be able to do their normal jobs. Yeah.
Wow. So if you can smell a military surplus smell as you're driving down Hog Street towards Val Verde University, you know you're
going to some higher learning.
You know you're coming down here just military surplus. You can smell it before you can hear the one-man bands. And Handsome Gary Tornado, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Oh my God. What's coming up in the next hour, Geoff?
Skeet Ulrich's doing a one-man band.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
He's not telling us. He
says
winking,
it's a surprise.
He keeps holding up a copy of Pink Floyd.
But
he won't tell me which record. It just says Pink Floyd on it, and it's like a weird bootleg. So
it's a bootleg. So he's doing
the
one-man Pink Floyd bootleg. I hope it's a gumma 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 gumma. That's what I'm hoping for.
Skeeta gumma gumma.
Skeeta gumma gumma. That's coming up.
Which is also a ska version too. Skeeta gumma gumma.
Gumma gumma. That's coming up in the next hour. But we're going to be broadcasting all day down here from the Quad Jam. You'll get Jason Gore in the next hour. You'll get Kenner and Jenner bring their afternoon show that is lighting up the airwaves. The top-rated show in Val Verde right now. Really disgusting. Really pissing me off. But yeah, you're going to get that later. And what a great time. But since we mentioned old Doug, we gotta play the song his brother was known for. Of course, it's Spoon Man on 108.9 The Hawk. Feel the rhythm with your hands.
Gross.
DC Pierson, welcome to the interview and welcome back to 108.9 The Hawk.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me back.
109.9 The Hawk. Oh my God, so many one-man bands. So many.
You are an impresario.
Industry,
I mean, it's impressive.
I wish it was. I wish this existed. I would go see. Now, I know there are one-man bands. There's that guy that's on, I don't even know his name, but I get his TikToks a lot, where he's like playing drums and guitar at the same time, and it's kind of like a garage rock thing. And he's very fucking good. Like, he rocks hard. And he does covers and stuff. Geoff would hate him.
I would despise him. But now I'm thinking, I listen to so much one-man black metal, but I would love if they showed up and were
but
just
they don't perform.
Hey,
live,
no,
right?
that's the thing. They always get a band. But if, Leviathan or Passage d'Hiver or Zaster showed up but only had cymbals between their knees.
Oh my God. Could you pull off, could you put cymbals between your knees and do a one-man death metal band?
I mean, I think I would blow out my knees trying to do the blast beats.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no way you could do it.
Yeah.
There's no way you could do that.
That would be me screaming because my glutes are burning so much.
Yeah, you'd have to have double bass, two bass drums in front of you.
Cut to the GoFundMe of like, hey, you would do a GoFundMe to get it together to do it, and then you would do a GoFundMe for the
funeral
PT.
Exactly. And then I'll pull an Animal Collective deal and just not do the record because I realize it hurts my body.
Wait,
do you remember that?
I don't know if I knew about that.
It was years ago. It was like the Deacon, one of the members, because we shared a practice space with him, but he wanted to do. It was one of those early like GoFundMe problems or Kickstarter where he was like, I want to do a record of like African inspired music because he had gone to Africa.
What, did he
got
been
all this
hanging out with
money,
Paul
and then he was
Simon?
just like, no, I kind of just decided that it wasn't going to be good, as far as I remember the story.
and
So he
then he
just didn't
kept the
do it, but he
money?
didn't return the money.
Oh my gosh.
And it was one of those like, wait a second here. Like, what are we doing with this? We can't
That's the
support your
best
bullshit.
grift. That's the best grift.
Yeah.
There were so many
That's
grifts
why I'm
with
an
those
Avi.
things.
That's why I'm an Avi tear man to the death.
Exactly. You got it. You got it.
I've never done a
Ed
Kickstarter
Drost gang.
or anything like that. Have you guys ever done a Kickstarter for anything?
No.
I have not. I feel like it's one of those things where I'm like, I see people do it really successfully and it's awesome. It also just anybody I know who's ever done one, it just seems incredibly stressful to do it well. And I think you would want to do it well if you were going to do it
100%.
because people are, it's not like it's like a GoFundMe where you go like, hey, somebody had something horrible happen. It sucks that we don't have universal health care in this country. Just take the money, whatever.
I'm okay
Even
with
25% of the time you're like, this is a scam. You know what I mean? Like if you just get a random, you see a random thing posted online where you're like, the person posting this probably doesn't even realize it. And it's just like, whatever, what are you going to do? You know, because the times when it's real, and you have to just like help people and whatever. But I think with like, when you're actually like making something, you have to like follow through. And that's really, the process is fraught enough without knowing like a lot of people who believe in you gave you money to do this. So it's not something I would ever rule out, but it's not something I have yet done.
The last time you were on the show, I don't know if we got to this question. It's a question we ask all of our guests now, just since, we talk rock and roll here. We talk classic rock.
Absolutely.
But where are you with classic rock? Did you grow up listening to it? Is it something that like your family force-fed to you? Where did you start with classic rock?
I would say like we would listen to the oldies station in the car like fairly often. I feel like maybe my mom would have it on. And like at that time, like it's funny that, in the actual episode when we were talking about how it's like 1979 could be or probably gets played on like classic rock formats now on the radio. Like at that time, it really was like Frankie Valli, nonstop, just like Motown songs, like those things that feel like that they really like started the like oldies format. But even then, I feel like probably before that, it was just straight up like 50s doo-wop and stuff. So, but we would listen to it when it was that era, that's my sort of like what I think of as being like oldies.
Right.
And then classic rock wise, my dad was super into music and was into like a lot of like Southern rock stuff, like Allman Brothers and stuff like that. Was not a Neil guy. I can't remember if we've ever talked about this or not, Jason.
No,
it's so weird to me. I listened through all the pandemic. I listened to So Far on the Best Show Patreon, and that really like kicked me off on like a whole Neil thing. I never really was exposed to Neil because my dad was into Crosby, Stills, Nash, and just not young.
This is the same as my mom.
That's
the
so
exact
weird.
Same as my mom.
Isn't
Mom
that weird?
hates Neil's voice.
Where I'm just like, that might be it, honestly. I think like just because it is such a divisive voice, but my dad like liked so much stuff around. My dad loved Joni Mitchell, put me on like Joni Mitchell, who I still love, CSN, but not Y, which I don't get now. Like,
CN. He probably loved the Crosby Nash records.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I had like,
my mom loves the Crosby Nash, and she saw Crosby Nash live so many times, and Crosby, Stills, Nash. Like she likes Deja Vu, but she doesn't like the Neil songs.
Right. I'm sure my dad probably like when I first listened to Deja Vu all the way through, I was like, I know some of this stuff for sure. But like, my dad just was not into Neil. Like I got all of his old records. He doesn't, to my knowledge, there's no Neil in there, which is wild. Yeah. But guys, generationally, progress is possible. This is the whole idea of the human race. Because I did just get tickets to see Neil Young and Crazy Horse at Forest Hill Stadium in May. I could not be more excited.
Dude, that's going to be
stoked. And it was, I got to live my Taylor Swift Eras Tour nightmare where we were like walking down the street. I'm walking behind my wife and child. And I'm just like, shit. Come on. Like, and it was also like, we live in New York and it's cold. And I was just like, I was trying to trying to zoom in and like the AXS thing and like clicking tickets that are there. And like, I just got in the queue. Like they went on sale at 10. I was on at 10:01 and I got in there and I'm like, great. Okay, cool. I'm like trying to hit stuff. I can't spend, $1 million. So I'm really trying to find there were, kudos to Neil. There were genuinely a lot of like, what would I think now be considered reasonably priced tickets. Like I think the lowest one was like $85, which it's wild that that's considered reasonably priced, but like it's
that's like the lawn ticket. The lawn ticket you would pay like $20 for in the 90s.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's now like $75 to $85, and that's good because
it was so hard. I got so frustrated, but I finally got tickets, and I could not be more excited.
Oh, dude, you are in for a treat. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm going to go to any of these shows mainly because of the pricing.
Right.
Same for like the Pearl Jam tour too. I'm just like, I don't know. I can't afford any of these right now. But
it's also this is the moment where I find the difference between New York and LA. Look, the comedians have been trying to find it all this time, but like for me, like if it's at like, in Brooklyn, if I was in New York, it's like, all right, it'll be annoying, but like it's a big stadium, but I'll just go on the subway. Or even if it's a little bit out, like you can get there. And like anytime there's a show here that one of the big stadiums, I'm like, I'm not really seeing me driving out there, getting parking after I put my kid to bed, gonna be up at 6, have to get all the way back. So I'll just be like, I guess I won't go see Peter Gabriel.
I also think the tickets out here are more expensive than the tickets in New York for some weird reason. I don't understand. A good friend of the show, Charlie Todd, will also be at one of the Forest Hills shows.
Nice.
If I don't see Neil on this tour, I'm okay because I've seen Neil so much, and I've seen Neil and the Horse so much. I'm just happy he's getting back out there, and I'm happy for people like you who
never seen him. I mean, I literally only got into Neil in 2020 thanks to So Far. So it's
it's gonna be loud, man.
Yeah, totally.
It's gonna be loud. The Horse is very
exciting. Also, have you guys ever seen a show at Forest Hills Stadium?
I have. I saw the Replacements there. I saw Jenny Lewis.
Nice.
I saw Dolly Parton there. It was great, man. There's no bad seat at Forest Hills.
For whatever reason, when I first lived here, I don't think it was like up and running. I never saw a show there. I never heard of it. And then it rules. It's just truly, there's no bad seat in the house. It's just great.
Back in the day, Forest Hills Stadium in Queens, before they brought it back to do shows, like they had shows back in the day, like the Monkees played there with Jimi Hendrix. Whoa. And like they would do tons of shows at Forest Hills. It's one of my favorite places to see a show. The only thing about Forest Hills that kind of wigs me out a little bit is that it's very old and it's very concrete.
Yes.
And every time I'm in those like very high seats, I'm like, this is the show that knocks this shit to the ground.
I mean, it could be Neil, honestly. Like if it's going to be somebody, it really could be.
But at least it's not if he just does
fucking
like Barclays.
Right.
I think when I saw 9 Inch Nails at Barclays, I had the last row.
Oh God.
And it was like I could feel that I was sitting on an angle.
You're dangling.
Like forward.
I wasn't
even, there was no sitting back at all. Like I felt like nauseous.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
Oh, you're going to have such a good time, man. That is such a cool place. What's going on with you, man? Any plugs? What do you want to get out here on the old plug section?
Genuinely
here?
Nothing like aggressively to plug. I would say like I think my main thing would be my mailing list, like everybody else, in like a post Twitter or at least a post X. In the X ecosystem,
it's
gotta have a newsletter. You gotta have a newsletter.
Weird time for social media or anything like that,
which is
now.
dcpearson.com/newsletter. So that's I send things out on that occasionally, original writing and stuff. I don't know if you guys saw, and maybe I'll send you a link if you want to link to it. One of the more ambitious, because we had, it was a situation where we just like suddenly had more time on our hands over the summer than we were used to because we like had childcare for like a minute.
Amazing.
There was like a sick arrangement where we were like, this works out. We can afford this. This is awesome. Yeah. And so we were just like, we're in our 20s again. We can do little weird, funky, whatever. Like we can just go into the village and smoke cigarettes in a tiny black box theater and then go home. No play. We don't smoke, but why not? But for the newsletter, I did a series of trading cards. Like I was really into like Marvel and DC Comics trading cards when I was a kid, but I did them all for characters from 90s alt rock songs.
Oh, I remember saying this. Yes, it's awesome.
Spoon Man, Man in the Box,
The Bee Girl.
What's that?
Did you do the
not
Bee
the Bee Girl because she's not in the song.
She's not in the song.
You know what I mean? Like she's not.
It has to be someone in the song.
Yeah, totally. So I did like a limited run of those, and by a limited run I mean JPEGs. I made some JPEGs. So if you want some exclusive JPEGs,
hey, that's the new classic rock, man.
That's right.
That's the new classic rock.
Oh, you mean all
that
that
on a shirt.
90s?
Yeah. Please
JPEGs are
send
the
us that.
new classic
We will link that in this
Thank you. Yes, I will.
episode so everyone can see that. And DC, it's so good to see you.
Likewise.
Can't wait to have you back. And
Thank you. Anytime. I have only 90 more one-man cover band names written down.
Oh, perfect.
what are some of the ones, before we go, what are some of the ones that we missed?
They were so stupid. Let me see here. I did get to 3 Doug Knight, which I was excited about. Where did they go? But yeah, it was so funny. Once we got going, I was like, oh, thank you. This is wonderfully just taking on a life of its own. So I'm not just having to like list these.
Right.
So I have our notes.
But I have like Cherry Pop and Maddie's. Who I keep. There's already Cherry Pop Vin Daddies, which is a guy named Vin. So I keep trying to get Maddie from Cherry Pop and Maddie's to do Big Bad Voodoo Maddie instead. But she doesn't want to because she doesn't want to step on Trig Bad Voodoo Daddy, which is Trig Palin's Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Oh my God.
Cover band, which is greedy of him because also he already has Van Palin, which is the one-man Trig Palin Van Halen cover band, stuff like that.
Oh,
Fantastic.
man, Palin.
Love it.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt for sure, man.
Well, hey there, everybody. It's Big Truck from 108.9 The Hawk. I'm just headed down the road on a long haul, but I wanted to take a second to thank you for listening to this episode of 108.9 The Hawk, the podcast version of what we air right here in Val Verde every day. And if you want to support 108.9 The Hawk, you can do so by telling your friends to listen to 108.9 The Hawk. Subscribe, rate, review. You can also subscribe to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/1089 The Hawk. You can get episodes 1 week early, bonus shows, some video content, and a lot of other fun stuff. And it's a great way to support the world's greatest podcast about a fictional classic rock radio station, 108.9 The Hawk. And don't forget that you can get new episodes of 108.9 The Hawk every Monday, wherever you get them podcasts. Toot toot!